Cory King here, co-owner with my wife Karen, and I guess brewer and blender at Side Project Brewing in St. Louis, Missouri. The reason I'm doing this is it's a lot easier for me to kind of explain what our beers are like this way over writing them out. What I'm going to talk about right now is a whole series of beers. Series of beers called Silent Barrel. So our Silent Barrel series, for us, for Side Projects, we blend all of our stouts like you would blend a sour beer, like you would blend anything in barrel. When we brew a batch of beer and fill barrels, 16 barrels, 20 barrels, oak barrels, whatever from a batch, they all create their own personality. Most of them are pretty similar. There's always outliers. There's always the best. There's always the least favorite. And fortunately for us, we never have a lot that are terrible, honestly. But we always have favorites and least favorites. And from that, we do blends. So a lot of the beers you've ever had from us are a blend. You've never actually really gotten a chance to experience some of our recipes on their own, how they are, what they are. And taking a chapter out of the book of like what the distilleries do, it is interesting to have a single barrel pick, and let people come in and pick, honey barrels, the quote unquote honey barrels, the best barrels or whatever they're feeling is the best at the time to figure out like, if we let them do a barrel pick, what would they pick? And it's great for me. It's fun. It's lovely. It's great to sit down in our barrel room here with a group of, 8 to 10 people. And so far our barrel picks have been exclusively with like really close friends. We've, and these barrel picks are called Silent Barrel. And so we've done one with the wine and cheese place. So Paul at the wine and cheese place has been a friend of mine and Karen's way before we even had our own brewery. When we started the brewery, Paul was so kind and offering us up barrels and all kinds of fun stuff just to help before Side Project even had a name, and that's lovely. And that's will never be lost on us. And so it was great to have that relationship with him. We still could see him all the time, which is great. So our first pick was with Wine and Cheese Place, of course. We did one with our friend Keller Ford at Cask. So my wife and I met each other down in Cape Girardeau. Keller Ford has a place down in Cape Girardeau called Cask. He's been giving me barrels over the last, 5, 6, 7 years, Keller, something like that. And so we had Keller up here, we did a barrel pick, and then while we were here, we also ended up picking 2 barrels because one of his barrels was aging an MJK recipe that was really beautiful. And we ended up just kind of bottling that up as it was too. We've done one with our friend Chris Coleman at Clayton Winehouse. So the guys over at Clayton Winehouse, Chris Coleman is actually a Lakota member of ours. Known Chris for a long, long, long time. He's great. And then we've become really good friends with Sean and Tim over at Clayton Winehouse as well. That's actually where Karen and I go drink most of our wine probably while we're here in St. Louis. So just lovely group of people. That's how this started. That's how this is, if we will. Once again, we work with friends. We're tiny. We don't have a lot of beer to share. We can't do it with everybody. And I wish we could. And it's nothing personal. It's just we're just small. And so we've done these small little barrel picks. And so from that has come Silent Barrel. These beers are always bottled straight from the barrel, pretty much, if you will. Still, we do not carbonate them. We haven't added any adjuncts to them. It is exactly how it tastes from the barrel. And it's a pick with us as a group. And that started the Silent Barrel project. And I really like that we have beers that are that big and bold that we can do that with and share them with you in that way. Unfortunately, being a single barrel, even though we do 375s, it's a tiny release. And so there's not a lot of the bottles, but they're fun and they're purposeful. And I hope if you get a chance to try them, you enjoy them. But the reason why I'm here today is we have 3 new ones coming. And with that being said, these 3 new ones will be debuted during the Sellers Stout Week. So you can come enjoy them on site. I will start first with the first of the 3 that we're going to be releasing. This is actually barrel number 552. So 552. This is our Silent Barrel pick with Oak and Steel in Kansas City. So Kyle from Oak and Steel in Kansas City, we've got a chance to become really good friends over the last couple of years. Oak and Steel knows what we're trying to do. They represent our beer really well. Like we actually share some of our beer in Kansas City. So if you're in Kansas City, go buy Oak and Steel. That's the only place in Kansas City you can get Side Project. So Kyle's also a Lakota member of ours, and we wanted to do something special with him. So we had Kyle over here with some of his team and some of our great Kansas City supporters. And we sat down in our barrel room and did a pick. So they chose barrel 552. This is actually a barrel that, from a recipe called Henry. It's a collab with Henry from Monkish. Henry and Adriana were here in 2020. So it's got some age on it now. We did a stout brew together. It's just a lovely beer. It's a recipe we wrote together, so it's a little bit different, all of our stuff. What we did is we actually sat down and had a tray of about 5 different beers, 6 different beers that I'd pulled from different ages, different recipes, different barrels, to kind of hone in on what the group was really digging at that moment. And then from there, per se, if we were all loving the rye barrels, I could go pull more rye barrel stuff or whatever. But we honed in on this 552, in which we bottled still. It is the Henry recipe, as I mentioned, in a Weller 12 barrel, bottled exclusively for open steel, or just a case or two. We're going to have it Stout Week if you want to come enjoy it with us. This one will be wax. It's not wax right now. We also did 2 barrel picks so far with our Lacoterie members. So we will eventually do barrel picks with all of our Lacoterie members in groups of about 15 people at a time. Group of people who have joined our club, who've been supporting us for years, who are just lovely people, who get what we're doing, and we appreciate that. And so we're going to start doing barrel picks with them. So this is silent barrel number 587. So we also let the picker pick the colors. So the wax will always match the color. They get to choose the color. So when you're wondering what the color means, it's a pick of the day while we're there. So 587. This one's unique. So whenever we're filling a batch of beer, and say at the very end of the batch, there's like half of a barrel gets full. Well, we just end up saving that barrel, and then we top it up with the next batch of beer going in a barrel. And over the years, it's been really cool because, we end up with 2 recipes per barrel. Sometimes we have these like orphan barrels that are like, wow, most of the time they're not crazy different, and they become part of a blend, and we don't even mention it on the label because it's just part of a blend, and you wouldn't notice anyways. But when we start doing barrel picks like this, you actually can experience what it would have tasted like if we had not back blended. So this one here is actually a blend of stout and barley wine. So what it meant is we finished off like a stout brew, and then the next time we were filling barrels, it was a barley wine. So we just went ahead and put them together and created this orphan barrel. And that was the inspiration for actually the Continuance series. Stout barley wines together, doing these other cool and unique things, because it's not the same as aging them separately and blending together. And it's also not the same as blending the recipes together and brewing one beer. Just not the same. And so we've experienced that and learned that over the years. And so I put this, I kind of snuck it into the tray while we were doing the pick. And I'm going to call you out, Vic. So she was in the tasting. And whole tray of beer, all stouts, except for this one has a little bit of barley wine in it. And she's like, that one tastes like there's barley wine in it, blindly, that's impressive. So I will say that's really cool. With your amazing palates and you're drinking our beer, that's really great. And we really appreciate that. So this is barrel 587. This is the Coterie number 1 is what it's going to be called. And this will be debuted at Stout Week. We're going to keep doing these silent barrels. You'll slowly see these over the years, but there's the Coterie number 1. And our 3rd silent barrel release. This whole program, I know they're small, and I'm sorry about that. I wish we could share them with everybody, but these will go to the people that selected them, and then the Coterie ones will go to the Coterie first. The Oak and Steel one will go to Oak and Steel after we do it like a case. But this is actually the Coterie barrel pick number 2. This is barrel number 925. They chose dark blue with this, which is really cool, beautiful. Barrel number 925. What this is like, once again, we had a whole tray of beers. What they ended up choosing was the Vibes recipe that was aged in a 4-year Heaven Hill barrel. We do not use a lot of Heaven Hill barrels. It definitely on the tray was unique because it was an outlier. We used a lot of Willet. If you didn't know, I've talked about it a million times, but they ended up choosing this Heaven Hill barrel. So this was aged just under 2 years in a 4-year Heaven Hill barrel. As I mentioned, we don't use a lot of, so definitely unique palate. It was a beautiful little beer and a fun experience to do with everybody. So just another barrel aged stout. These are all, pretty straightforward, just one of our recipes, but they have their own personality, and it's been great to share that with everyone and to share with you. So that one will be coming during Stout Week. I guess, next time I do this, I should open them up and drink them, talk about the tasting notes. But I just did 6 beers today, and I don't think I could drink all those in one time. Hope to see you during Stout Week. I think that concludes all the new stuff. Actually, we have one more coming during Stout Week, but I won't talk about that. So if you come join us, you'll see it then. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoy Side Project Beer. Cheers.